Hey guys, just quickly before this video begins, if you hear any unexplained noises in the background, I'm not being haunted by some random spectre. I actually have the window open because right now it's 73 degrees outside, which probably means it's going to be about 90 in my room, so it's been really fucking hot today, and it is going to continue doing it throughout the week, which is just typical considering school just started again. But just to be clear, they're not shooting fucking Paranormal Activity 7, Quinton's closet in my room right now. It's just because the window's open because I might incinerate during this video, so just a word of warning. So guys, welcome back to this random ass series. Yeah, I know I said I was gonna do this like once a month, but I couldn't be arsed. Well, to say I couldn't be arsed is a bit of an overstatement, but I just never got really round to making this video, but we're finally here on September 4th as I'm recording this. We are finally here talking about August and ultimately September's gaming news, so welcome to the video, everyone. And yes, this is a regular thing on this channel if you're new. I will say I'm going to do something and then I just don't do it. I either forget or just decide to put a bit more work into it, and then you end up seeing it in about 6 months. So yeah, stay tuned for the Hassan Abbey rant. Sorry, I meant H3H3 rant. I don't know what I said there, you know, it's not like it's a hint or anything. But yeah, we are almost 2 minutes into the video, so we are going to jump straight in and talk about the first story today, which is obviously going to be Starfield. Now, as I mentioned at the end of the last news video, I am super fucking hyped for this game, and technically, you could argue that it is out because it's in early access and some people do have access to it, but unfortunately, I do not, because you would have probably seen a Let's Play already if I did, and I have to wait till the 6th, which is tomorrow as you guys are seeing this, to, you know, actually get on and play the game and play it for you guys here on the channel, because I will be doing a Let's Play of that game, so it should be pretty interesting. But now, let's talk about what I actually wanted to talk about. Now, hasn't this game been controversial at its launch? That is definitely one way to put it, because if you've been over on Twitter or over on YouTube, oh, sorry, I should say X, whatever, you've probably seen a lot of people complaining about the game, and also a lot of people saying it's very good and kind of like a return to form for Bethesda since the absolute disaster that was Fallout 76. Now, obviously, I haven't had hands-on experience with the game yet, so I can't really give you my opinion, but I have to say some of the hate, you know, it's definitely warranted in some areas. Like, it does look kind of buggy, which is, you know, very typical for Bethesda games at launch. It does look kind of meh in terms of graphics, which I wasn't really expecting that anyway, considering how big this world is. There is 1,000 planets, which people have been kicking off saying like only like 5% are inhabited or something. But yeah, this game has had its fair few controversies already, with people saying the game looks bad, it's broken, it's glitchy, and then other people will come in and go, when you play the game you hardly notice these issues because it's so fun, which I have heard a few times as well. And I have to say, a lot of the people that tend to be crying about the game tend to be like die-hard PlayStation fanboys that are like, oh, it's not as cinematic as God of War, which, you know, it doesn't have to be. And obviously I'm not going to sit here and say that all criticism towards Starfield is completely, Jesus Christ, completely unwarranted, because vast majority of it that I've seen on Twitter is legitimate criticism, and it's not just like, haha, Xbox trash, they can't even make a good exclusive, ha ha ha, you know, that sort of shit that you see all the time as well. Like, the vast majority of Starfield takes I've seen over on the internet have been kind of like warranted and very good takes coming from a very good place without any clear bias, and then the other like small minority are just these retards over on Twitter that are just, you know, complaining that you can't fly to a fucking gas giant. What the hell? Like, did this guy do anything to do with space in class or whatever? Because everyone knows there is no solid surface, and if you flew into a gas giant, you would be like torn to shreds. Is this guy a fucking idiot?
I can see through your writing that you're fucking retarded.
But yeah, that has to be one of the stupidest takes I've ever seen. But, you know, disregarding that, moving on. But then the other people are giving, like, legitimate feedback on the game and saying what they liked, what they disliked. Yeah, they're not just crying about it because, you know, it's not on PlayStation. And the game is getting actual honest feedback, which I think is definitely very important for the game's sustainability. But in my, you know, research, I guess you could say, I have found that even major review sites, I say major because, you know, who fucking gives a shit what they think, really? They're kind of going with like, oh, the facial animations aren't as good as God of War or The Last of Us. No fucking shit, it's Bethesda. Do you guys remember Oblivion?
Stop! You violated the law.
You know, how great the facial animations in that were, fucking hell, blew me away at the time. Like, people come up with some of the stupidest things, like we need to compare every single game to God of War and all of PlayStation's best exclusives. Who gives a shit? It's a Bethesda game. We're not playing for, you know, a next-gen fucking high-fidelity experience. What we're playing this game for is to play an RPG, roleplay, and experience the story that Bethesda are trying to tell. We're not here to be absolutely blown away by some cinematic masterpiece. Like, Bethesda have never had the best technology when it comes to, like, facial recognition and stuff like that, and just facial animations in general, or even just animations and graphics in general. They've never needed it because the games have, you know, sold themselves with the story and the mechanics and stuff like that. So I don't get the comparison here. But then again, this article did come from IGN, so they could literally review a game that would give you fucking lung cancer, and they'd still give it like a 9.2 out of 5, even though it's saying like, oh yeah, it literally gives you cancer, but it's still a good game and overall experience, so here's a 9.2. And they gave Starfield a 7, by the way, just for anyone that's interested. Like, fair enough if you don't like Starfield, you know, obviously the reviewer, he said it was good, but it wasn't perfect, which, yeah, I didn't expect perfection. It's a Bethesda game. But if you are just one of them people on Twitter that doesn't really like Starfield, fair play. You know, like, I don't think that's one thing gaming will ever accomplish, like, making a game for everyone. Like, yeah, Starfield isn't going to be for everyone, so as long as you're not one of them wankers online that's like, no one can enjoy this game because it's an Xbox exclusive, basically just people seething and coping because they can't play it on PlayStation, because I guarantee you, a lot of these sites would probably give it a higher review if it was on PlayStation as well. Just the fact it's Xbox exclusive and people just want to complain about something. That's essentially what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about Starfield. We're going to move on now and talk about something else. So I'm going to try and not spend as much time talking about each subject because I know how long this video is getting already, but I just wanted to talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage real quick. Now, all I can say is this game looks fucking amazing. That's all I can say. Like, this looks like exactly what I want from an Assassin's Creed game. It's got that classic setting. It's got, you know, the return of the parkour gameplay. Like, we've seen a little bit of footage from this already, and it looks like classic Assassin's Creed mixed with, you know, the newer stuff like the RPG kind of games, which, in my opinion, haven't been that great. Like, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, in my opinion, are definitely the weakest games in the entire franchise, because I really don't like the RPG elements in Assassin's Creed, because it just makes it feel like it's trying to be every other game on the market and be like a generic, watered-down RPG, and Assassin's Creed Mirage really looks like the exact opposite of that, and what we really want from Assassin's Creed. So I have made like a little checklist here of things that I think look pretty interesting. Now, the parkour, it looks smooth, it looks interesting, it looks fun, which is the main thing here. It looks like Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, even Black Flag, which I think is the best Assassin's Creed game. But it looks so fucking smooth, it looks fast, it looks, you know, very decently paced, you know, a lot of good movement in there, and also a lot of, like, kind of classic stuff mixed with the Valhalla kind of feel, which I think is definitely a better approach to go with. So in terms of, like, modernization and that, it definitely looks like a modern adaptation of what Assassin's Creed should be, not this like watered down RPG experience. It looks like a stealth focused parkour, you know, simulator essentially. It feels and looks like Assassin's Creed. At least that's what I'm getting from these videos, and as I've mentioned, it feels and looks like Assassin's Creed Classic, none of this watered down RPG shite, which, as I mentioned, I was never a big fan of in Valhalla and Origins, and as well as Odyssey. I do have all three of those games. However, I never really played that much of them, considering I didn't really enjoy them. I went back and played Odyssey a bit more recently, but I really did not like the game whatsoever. And then also I played Origins recently, didn't like it. And then Valhalla, if you guys remember when I got that game, because it came with my Series X, I really did not like it. I played it throughout the stream. It looks gorgeous, but it just doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed, and I don't want to play, you know, the watered down RPG games. I want to play Assassin's Creed Mirage because it feels like Assassin's Creed 1, it looks like Assassin's Creed 2, and it will probably be like the best of both worlds, like all the good features from the RPG games coming into Assassin's Creed in the modern day, and also adding in all the stuff that actually made it, you know, popular back in the day. Like, it just looks so fucking good, and even in terms of like graphics, it looks fucking beautiful. Like, this game is absolutely fucking gorgeous. Every time we see it, it looks even better because, like, we've seen now both day and night gameplay with like parkour and stuff, and the lighting at night is just absolutely perfect in my opinion. It's bright still that you can see what's going on, but it's definitely darker than what you'd experience during the day. Like, it's like Valhalla's graphics but better, I think. Like, this is probably the most gorgeous Assassin's Creed game I have ever seen, and I was blown away with fucking Black Flag on the 360 back in the day. That's how, like, gorgeous this game looks. This has blown me away on a very similar level. Every time we see Baghdad, which is where the game is set, which, if you don't know, it's kind of very similar to where the first game is set, which is why a lot of people are so hyped, but the game just looks better every single time we see it. Like, in the demo I was a little bit unsure, but now that I've seen this gameplay, oh my god, this game looks fucking beautiful. And the stealth in it, it looks so much better than just the generic RPG mechanics that we're seeing, you know, in the last 3 games. Like, this game just looks like a proper Assassin's Creed game. I know I've said that a lot, but it genuinely does, and that's one of the few ways I can actually describe this game. It looks and feels like stealth in Assassin's Creed back in the day, and that's one thing I am really looking forward to. I'm probably not going to get it on release day. I'm going to probably wait till around Christmas till one of my family members can get it me, but when I do, I guarantee you I probably won't be able to put the game down if it's anything like Assassin's Creed 1. And obviously, I'll probably talk about it a bit on the channel when I get it and, you know, give you guys my thoughts and opinions on the game, which, yeah, it should be pretty damn good. But anyway, we are going to move on now from Assassin's Creed, even though I am really fucking hyped for this game as well. We're going to move on and talk about the Xbox 360 store, which is a bit of a sad one, but let's move on. Yes, you guys heard me correctly. It is a sad, sad day, or it will be on the 29th of July 2024, because the Xbox 360 store and marketplace is officially shutting down forever. And honestly, it just feels weird, you know, for me, considering the Xbox 360 is my favorite console of all time. It just feels so weird to be saying that this, you know, the store is going to be going. You know, we've lost support for Halo over on the 360. It's just, it feels like an era of my life is coming to the end, you know, that sort of thing. It feels like an entirely, you know, the book is closing, I guess you could say, and we can truly never go home. I know Nero says that quite a lot, that we can never go home, meaning we can't relive, you know, the glory days of playing Minecraft Xbox 360 with my friends, or playing Halo 4, or playing whatever I played on 360. I can never go back to playing that, so I might make at some point like just an ode to the Xbox 360 when this actually shuts down, because a lot of the games that you bought on Xbox 360 store, they're going away, and Phil Spencer has stated saying that he would love to, you know, explore an option to, you know, keep those games, but I can't really see, you know, a way for anything that's been downloaded from the store, you know, I can't really see, you know, a way to get around losing all that content, which is really sad. And I did spend quite a bit of money on the 360, which is also pretty sad in terms of my bank account, but yeah, it's just, honestly, it feels like the end of an era at this point, and we are truly moving on to the new generation of consoles, which is obviously the Xbox Series X and the PS5. But even then, if like the old gen is in the PS4 and Xbox One, they're still going, which is kind of mad to think about. They are still making games for those systems, and they are only just shutting down the 360, which is just absolutely mad. And as I have mentioned, my 360 is kind of fucked. Like, I have no idea what's wrong with it. I think it's the, the video card or whatever has gone in it, and I may need to get that replaced. And if I can't get that replaced, I'm going to be very, very upset, because there's a lot of stuff on there I would love to go back and revisit, because, you know, it was just like a really interesting time in my life. It's where I first really got into gaming. Like, I loved it before. I loved Pokemon, I loved Halo before that, but, you know, I never really played it religiously religiously until I got my 360. Like, I'd stay up all night, you know, playing Modern Warfare 2, playing Halo 4, playing Minecraft with my friends on the 360 version, and it's just, it just feels like all of that's coming to an end now, and that is kind of sad, but, you know, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before the Xbox One and PS4 go the same way, because, you know, I can't see them supporting those consoles for much longer, considering how old they are now. Like, the Xbox One and PS4 are literally 10 years old this year, which is just makes me feel fucking ancient, but you know, it is what it is. Those things are gonna have to go eventually as well, but I guess, you know, we're gonna have to say goodbye. You know, we've got a bit of over a year yet, to be honest with you, but we are eventually, next year in July, we are going to have to say goodbye to the Xbox 360. And for our next story today, Epic Games are making some serious moves in the market, and this is because they have decided— I became Scottish there for a minute. Fucking hell, the heat's making me delirious. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. Epic Games has basically offered any developer that want to publish their game exclusively on the Epic Games Store 100% cut of the revenue, which is absolutely insane and an absolute, like, Sigma male massive balls move by Epic Games to, you know, secure exclusive content for the platform, because 100% of the revenue gained from games is just absolutely mental. Steam doesn't have that, fucking Origin doesn't have that, absolutely nothing has that, and that's just insane to think about, in my opinion. Like, 100% of the revenue from the game, like, Epic Games gets absolutely no money from the sales of your game if you decide to go exclusively on the Epic Games Store, which is just mad, and it's definitely going to encourage a lot more developers to put their stuff on the Epic Games platform and, you know, receive 100% of the revenue. And what Epic Games does get from this, which I find interesting, they're getting literally just pure 100% good promotion. Like, that's literally all they get from this. More people are going to look like, oh yeah, they're making so much money, these developers, I'm going to put my game on there, as well as new players seeing these games on the Epic Game, you know, store, and they're download it and buy, they buy this game and get 100% of the cut to the developers, but they will also be more likely to buy games that Epic have made themselves, or, you know, have it on other platforms, so Epic does get a cut of the game. So it's ultimately a really smart business move on the behalf of Epic, because they are making money, like, indirectly, I guess you could say. They are making money from people who are new to the platform, coming in, buying these games, and then they will be more likely to use the platform to buy, you know, other games or whatnot, and that is going to make Epic Games a fuck ton of money in the near future. And honestly, I can see this, you know, partnership program, I guess you could call it, working out big time for both Epic and small indie developers as well. So that's ultimately a plus, because, you know, we all like to see these small indie developers getting 100% of their revenue and also a good amount of funding, which I guess is going to be coming later on down the line. If, like, a lot of these indie projects end up really fucking successful, Epic's probably going to end up funding a lot of these, so that's going to be definitely really fucking interesting to see down the line. Now, for our final story today, I wanted to talk about the PlayStation Portal and why I think it is probably the stupidest piece of PlayStation add-on merchandise that you can ever purchase, because essentially what this PlayStation Portal is, it's essentially a remote kind of play, so you can play your PS5 game library on the go. I say on the go in huge quotation marks, because you have to be connected to the same Wi-Fi network as your PS5. So basically, it is completely fucking redundant. The unique selling point, I guess, is if someone else is using the TV, all you have to do is have your PlayStation 5 on, and you can stream your games to the PlayStation Portal, which I just think is really fucking stupid. Like, that is completely useless to me. If I had a PS5 and I had it on, considering it's in my room, I'm going to be able to play it. No one else is going to be using the TV. Like, I guess you could argue to some extent that if, like, your parents are watching TV or whatever and you want to play your PS5, you can play it on there as long as your PS5's on. But it being over the same Wi-Fi network is hardly, like, streaming, really, is it? Like, what people were expecting from a PlayStation handheld is, like, full-on streaming from the internet and doing all that good stuff. But no, that's not possible. They're going to basically just give you the Wii U, which is essentially, like, you had to have the Wii U console on, and then you could play very limited things on the gamepad. That's essentially what this is, just 10 years later, well, 11 years later, which is just miraculous that this even got out of the beta testing stage, to be honest. Like, yeah, it's sort of like a cool idea being able to play games away from your PlayStation, but in my opinion, it's kind of made redundant by the fact you have to play on the same Wi-Fi network. Most people have their consoles in their rooms, I'm guessing. Like, a few people will probably have them in the living room if it's like a family PlayStation or whatever, but in my house, we've all got our consoles in our rooms, and playing it on the PlayStation Portal, like, say for example, my brother has a PS5, him playing his PlayStation Portal would be completely stupid because 10 fucking feet away is his PS5, and he has to get up, turn the PlayStation 5 on, then go over and play his PlayStation Portal. What the fuck is the point of that? Like, yeah, that's obviously one very specific situation. If you're going off the idea, like, your parents are watching TV in the living room and you just want to play PS5, yeah, I guess it's sort of useful for that, you know, specific situation, but other than that, that is the only situation that you're actually ever going to use this fucking thing. Like, this is going... Right, how much is this actually going for? Let me just check. It's £200. Right, so £200. Feel the power of the PlayStation in the palm of your hand. Play your PS5 console. I don't know how I said that, but with home Wi-Fi, with console quality controls, with the PlayStation Portal remote controller. Includes the DualSense, adaptive triggers in supportive games. Yeah, but the thing is, it's over your home Wi-Fi. So, like, it's kind of not really remote, considering if you've got it in your room, you're just gonna go turn on your PS5 and then go over and play on your PS Portal or whatever. Why don't you just sit down and play your PS5? In one specific circumstance, this thing is useful. One, and even then, like, the Switch, obviously you can take that out and about with you and actually play games because it's not a cloud-based system, but this is. I just don't really see this being too successful, considering it's such like a niche use. Like, one specific use is this thing actually worth £200, and even then I would consider that a massive stretch, considering the vast majority of people, I assume, have their consoles in their rooms, or if they don't, they can probably just play the PS5 normally. Like, I don't see that situation that it's supposed to be used for happening very often, and considering you can't, you know, like, have your PS5 off and then take it on the go and have it over random internet connections, it just seems like a complete waste of money in my opinion. But anyway, that's about all I have for today's video. Sorry, it's going to be another like 2 months or something till the next gaming news video, but hopefully you guys did really enjoy this one. I feel like the topics we talked about definitely were a bit more interesting than the last one, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video here. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you never miss a single video, or alternatively, you can join the Discord server as a link down below. But anyway, this has been QuinntonTV, and I'll see you all in the next one.